This is the easiest method to rendezvous and dock two spacecraft in orbit, and in this video, I'm going to show you how it's done. To start, I'm going to assume you already have a target in orbit, and you've already built a rocket that you want to use for the rendezvous. For this mission, I suggest bringing plenty of RCS fuel. Now, let's launch into an orbit, just like any other mission. The only difference is that once we reach orbit, we're going to set our apoapsis and periapsis such that we orbit just a few kilometers above or below our target, but here I choose to go just below it. Once we've done this, make sure you've clicked the target ship in the map view and set it as our target. When you do this, you'll see two icons appear on our trajectory, AN and DN, which stand for ascending node and descending node respectively. These tell us where we need to burn to match up with the orbital plane of our target. Now, time warp over to one of these nodes. Here, I opt to go for the descending node, which means that I'll need to point my ship towards the normal icon on the navball. If you head to the ascending node, you'll need to point it anti-normal instead. You then want to burn your engines until the readout drops to 0 degrees and the icons move to the other sides of your orbit. Now, we wait. Because our orbit is slightly lower than our target, we're going to orbit slightly faster than it, meaning that over time, we're going to catch up to it. You can see with each orbit, our closest encounter markers get closer and closer together. Once our closest approach gets down to around about 20 kilometers, time warp until you reach the icons. You then want to set your navball to target mode by clicking on the speedometer, which tells us our velocity relative to our target instead of the planet. Now, point towards the retrograde marker and burn our engines until our relative speed is roughly 0. Now for the fun part. Find the target icon on your navball and point to it, then burn your engines. I would suggest keeping your speed below about 100 meters per second here, as we're now heading straight towards our target. When we get to within around 3 kilometers of our target, point retrograde again to reduce our speed so we don't just zip straight past it. At this point, you'll want to switch over to the other craft. When you do this, make sure that the docking port is opened, if it's a shielded one, and I'd also suggest retracting any solar panels to prevent them getting damaged in case something goes wrong. But most importantly, we want to point our target spacecraft towards the normal marker on the navball. You'll see why we do this shortly. Now we're close, and we're at the most difficult part of the mission, docking. Here, you want to enable your RCS to use the translational controls to maneuver our spacecraft. If you're unsure how this works, check out my full guide on rotational and translational RCS controls. We now want to point our vessel towards the anti-normal marker on the navball. This lines us up with the target docking port. We now need to use our intuition a bit to move the spacecraft to the right position. For example, if you're a bit below the target, you'll want to burn upwards, and so on. Now we can use the navball to try and guide us in. We want to come in slowly, at less than a meter per second ideally. Because we're already pointing in the right direction, we need to get the target icon to line up with our central marker. To do this, we need to guide it with the help of our prograde and retrograde markers. The way to do this is that if our target marker is, say, just above our central point, we want our prograde marker to fall on the line that is made between the central point and the target icon, only further away from the center. This pushes the target marker down towards the center, and we can then move the prograde marker to the central point to bring us in. Once it's lined up, we then want to come in very slowly, just a couple of centimeters per second. But just like that, docking is confirmed. If you found this helpful, make sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss another Kerbal Physics tutorial.